Let's see, there it is.
We live. Hey, everybody.
Should we say buenos dias?
¿Cómo estás?
What's up, guys?
Yeah, go ahead. We're super happy to be here with you guys right now. It is 6 p.m. over here in Spain. So this is a little different for us. We're normally like right up against lunchtime as we're chatting with you guys. But we are happy to be here with you now. And man, we're having some good times over here.
Oh, for sure.
We're meeting some amazing, amazing individuals. As you know, LifeVantage tends to draw those type people to the table, and they're here. They're here, and we're growing some relationships. And, you know, we are going to talk about, we have so many different things to talk about. I'm a little bit all over in my head, but I'm thinking about the core values. We always start these calls with our core values. And being that we're here in a new market, it's really cool to have that compilation of the core values that our team holds on to. Because as we're working with this new market, it's great to kind of set the stage with, look, this is who we are as a team. This is who you're joining. This is what you're becoming a part of. Because as you know, with everything in this business, you kind of set expectations. You kind of set the tone for things. And I love that we've got that to be able to share with a market that is just getting launched so that that culture can be adhered to from the get-go. I don't know, it just excites me when you think about the time and effort that this team put together in ensuring that we had the right description of core values and how impactful it can be.
Yeah, there's a lot that we've already learned, a lot we've taken, you learn that you take for granted, being involved in a market for so many years that one thing is for sure, there's amazing leaders here, but you cannot put enough, you can't give enough credit to the leaders of this team. You guys are amazing, and I have learned how we have taken for granted a lot of the things that just happen without us even being a part of it anymore. It's why we do this business, is to have markets that are running smoothly without us. That's what all of us want at some point in the future, is many, many markets running smoothly. And there are great leaders here in Spain, but you come to realize real quickly how many amazing leaders and how many there are within our organization. And this is pretty awesome. We got a bunch of people live right now on, so thank you guys for being live. Tag your teams in this. We've got some good stuff prepared for you guys today. Spain is amazing. Let's talk about Spain just for a second for these guys, so y'all have something that you can use to take advantage of why Lynette and I are here. We are based out of a city in the southern part of Spain called, well, the Americans would call it Murcia.
Especially the
GPS.
The GPS, right?
The GPS girl calls it Murcia. You might hear some people in Spain call it Murcia, and the locals call it Murcia. Seriously, that's how, am I lying?
No, that's
very accurate,
that's right? There.
And so we've also learned that there's like 10 different slangs of Spanish.
It's impossible.
So
what do you expect from us gringos? I want to know Spanish, and there's too many different versions.
But amazing cities we've been in. Madrid was insane, just a beautiful city. So for you guys, know that we're based out of a city called Murcia. It is in the southern part of Spain. We have an office there. We were in the office for 4 or 5 hours today because, yes, it's 6 p.m. It's after 6 p.m. here. We're actually on our way to an opportunity meeting as soon as we get off of here tonight. So you guys should be for sure trying to find connections within your networks for anybody in the Murcia area, right? It's easy for us to get to them to get to us. The next couple big events is this. This coming Saturday, we have an event that we're expecting close to 200 people in Murcia. And then a week after that, the following Saturday, which I think is the 9th, we're going to be back in Madrid. So guys, I can't tell you how powerful it is to be a part of a pre-launch like this, because these folks are hustling. They're hustling. We had Today was kind of a let's look at the organization day, and we probably had 45 names of people already in the business that are excited here in Spain and are working really, really hard. So make sure you're doing everything to dig in your networks there. And then, of course, March 16th.
Yes. In Barcelona?
It's a Saturday and Sunday in Barcelona is where we're going to have basically a leadership academy. It's not an elite academy, but it's an all-day Saturday event, half a day on Sunday, dinner on Friday night. So, I mean, it kind of looks like an elite academy, just won't have the name. That's in Barcelona, and it's at one of the nicest hotels in Barcelona. I mean, it's going to be a blast, and it's going to be a lot of power there. So those are your three big cities that have open meetings. But of course, if you know some people, you can reach us on WhatsApp so that we can help Team True Blue be a big part of this launch in Spain this month.
It's so interesting, you guys. We take so much for granted. We really do. In the U.S., we have so many different avenues to make things happen. We're looking at some people here who have been building their business for a year without their country being open, which means there was a lot of strategy involved in making that happen. It also means that there's a leader who stepped up and is like, it's like he's running a business, but just with the foresight of what is coming. In the sense that orders were having to be shipped in bulk and separated and
paying double shipping.
Double shipping, and the trade ratios on the dollars were throwing things off, and the legwork involved is the reason we're here. I mean, it's absolutely insane, the sacrifices that are being made.
It's why he has about 50 distributors already in his organization in Spain. So he was willing to do the work. He was willing, not just one person, but there's basically 4 people that have been pioneering the market and been doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And the majority of all the distributors are obviously in their organization. So
and you can see the hustle. You see, like the one gentleman that's a leader here went to bed at 1 a.m. because he was working on getting some invites out. Woke up at 4 a.m. to go to his job, and then was meeting with us at 2 p.m. and is coming to the night presentation. So he'll probably get back to bed at 1, up at 4. And I know some of you guys on here have made those type sacrifices. But you guys, they recognize the significance of what we have. And that's why I started this saying that I think a lot of times we take it for granted. In the US, it comes so easy to us that we don't make the most of it. We've got such a special gift. And I love hearing some of the in-person testimonials and stories that people are sharing and pouring their heart out, because it helps remind me even how big of a deal what we have is. It's life-changing products, life-changing. And with those products, we have a life-changing opportunity. And so it's incredibly touching to be a part of what we're seeing. But it serves as a reminder to us all that we got to make the most of it.
Yeah, and so maybe you're not ready to help launch a country yet. That takes time to kind of put yourself in that position. And I can tell you that unless you're willing to invest a lot of your time, don't even think about it unless you live in that country. But some of you need to launch your city. Some of you guys need to treat your city like some are treating a country. Launch your city. Put your flag down and say, I'm going to do whatever I need to do. These guys worked for a year without a paycheck. They worked for a year before Hyperwallet released their funds to take advantage of being first. How many people would do that, right? They saw the vision. They've been hustling. So launch your city, guys. Some of you are doing it very well, and Lynette and I and the leaders are very proud of you. You guys, some of them are very obvious, but there's some new up and coming. We've got an amazing group developing in Michigan. Holly and her crew up there, they are launching a city and they're launching a state for all intents and purposes. Please don't take that out of context, because I know there may be some of you here that live in Michigan and have been a part of LifeVantage for years and say, wait a second, I launched Michigan. I'm not trying to get that specific. I'm just saying that Holly and that team are taking ownership. She's gone to Pro 5, and we see much more for that group in the future. Just do that. Look at your city as a country and say, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to take full responsibility. I'm not waiting for anybody. And you'll see the benefits. They'll pay off. You'll reap the benefits of that. But we know that we are all globally looking at a calendar going, it's almost the end of the month. We just had our 25th auto ship. So you should be able to look in your back office now and see pretty much what all of your subscription orders are going to look like. They probably have a number of credit cards that decline that they're going to run 2 or 3 more times before the day is over to try to capture as many of those auto ship orders as possible. I would imagine we're going to get more action cards in our app letting us know if one of our direct enrollments auto ships did not run. So pay attention to the app so that you can reach out to those people whose auto ships have not run, and use that as an opportunity to be a good customer service agent, not a distributor trying to get money. Call all your customers, not just saying, hey, your credit card didn't process. Call them, see how they're doing on the products, offer them some free samples, and just be very, tactful about saying, I noticed that your auto ship didn't run. I just want to make sure nothing was wrong. Maybe a credit card didn't run, blah, 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 blah. You got that handled. But also, there's a lot of distributors that will hear on, next week and on the 15th saying, hey, there's something wrong with my check. It should have been this or should have been that, or I didn't get any money. And just a reminder that if you don't have $100 in PV, you don't get a check. And without $200 in PV, you don't get 40% on the sales that you do this week. So you've got an opportunity still to get $200 PV so that you're fully commissioned as you're making these enrollments. So if you don't have $200 PV yet, we know that's step 1 on the map to Pro 3. Step 1 on the map to Pro 3 is that you have $200 PV. If you don't know what PV is, that means you're pretty new. It's personal volume, and it's made up of your orders plus the orders of your customers. So that should be your goal. If you don't have 200 PV, that should be your goal. If you're a distributor, just make sure you have 200 PV so that you're paid 100% of what you owed for your activity. And some groups call it dialing for dollars. What's that mean? It means you dig into your back office and you find all the people who don't have 100 or 200 PV. You find all the people in your back office who are not Pro 1s and not Pro 2s, and you call them and you say, how can I help you get to Pro 1? How can I help you get to Pro 2? Do you guys know that when you hit Pro 2, when you hit Pro 1, you're now getting 2 levels of the unilevel when you hit Pro 1. In the US. And I have to preface that because there's a little bit different depending on what country and the levels of compensation. But in the US, when you hit Pro 1, you're getting paid 2 levels of unilevel. When you hit Pro 2, it doubles. You get 4 levels of unilevel, guys. 4 levels for hitting Pro 2. That's a big deal. That might double your unilevel check. It might triple your unilevel check. And even though it's only $10 or $20 or $30 for your unilevel check, if you teach that behavior for the upline, which may be you in the future, or maybe it's you now, if you teach that 10 times over, the check just doesn't jump $20 or $30. It jumps for you $200 or $300 if you teach that process in your organization. I hope you follow that math. And I can tell you right now, Lynette and I did an exercise for 4 hours on a whiteboard today, drawing out an organization. And if you don't think what you do duplicates, you ought to see what we just saw. What we just saw, our jaw just dropped because, frankly, it's going to take some work to unwind what some of the people taught here. And so it's not unwindable. But what is for a fact, the very first people that started here started a process, and it's duplicated, and it's going to cost them in their wallets. It's going to cost them in their wallets. And so everything we do in this business eventually costs us in our wallet. It's a business.
Well, and so you can use what you're saying in the encouragement that you're giving them to look in your group, see whose volume is not where it needs to be, see who's close to rank advancing, because if that gets duplicated in your organization, then everyone's thriving, everyone's growing. And I'll tell you this too. I remember when we were 3 months into the business, being told, you guys, you're almost at the rank of Pro 4. You've got to make this happen. You got to push. There's an Elite Academy coming up. You'll get recognized. And I just remember going like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. Because you don't know any better. When you're a new person, you only know what people tell you, what your enrollers tell you. If no one tells you or coaches you or encourages you, you don't know. There's just too much information to understand. And so I remember thinking, I don't know what the big deal is, but okay, we'll push. And we did, and we hit it. And then I was like, okay, now I get the big deal, right? So the whole point is the group is looking to you to guide them. So you've got to guide them in every step of the way that you want duplicated, because otherwise nothing happens for the most part.
Yeah. So we are learning quite a bit in actually starting over in a new country. And there's some things that are so important that it's good reminders. And one of those reminders is the core values. Lynette talked about it a little bit in the very beginning of this live with you guys. I just got to tell you, it is so exciting to see your names and faces popping up on this live. It's awesome. We miss you guys, even though, we were with some amazing people. Hey, Amy, what's up? Good to see you. It's just awesome that we were able to stay connected this way. And even though you're not talking back to us, I almost feel as if
we feel your love.
We feel that you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. Oh gosh, it's so funny trying to communicate here. But another thing, just a little shout out to everyone that lives outside of the United States. They know a whole lot more English than we know of their language. So shout out to all the other countries out there, because we should have been doing better at learning other languages than we have. But nonetheless, it's awesome to see all your faces on this live. And we hope you guys can take advantage of us being here. We're not just here, obviously, for us in that team that we're working with. We're here to build all of your networks. And we're building some core values, guys. We have spent, I bet if you had to put a percentage on it, half or more of the time has been spent on core values here.
Well, because when you think about the culture, you want the right culture from the beginning. And if you don't set that tone, you may not end up with the finished product that you want. And so the best time to do that is in the beginning. And so it's perfect.
Yep. Hey, Gladys, and hey, Carrie. Yeah, Canadian. I got to speak Canadian, eh?
Well, that was easy.
So core values, guys, when we finally, we were always operating with a certain set of core values. We just hadn't outlined them. We just hadn't put them to paper. But a lot of time by our leaders went into developing the core values. And I've just got to tell you, if you're developing your city, okay, if it's your goal to put your stamp on a city and then a state and a region or a country, you better get really familiar with those core values, because if you don't, you will have a house built on a poor foundation, poor foundation. Things just happen if there's no transcending values outside of policies and procedures. The company puts in policies and procedures. Think of policies and procedures maybe as the laws of a state. There's certain laws within the state that you live in that everybody adheres to. But then inside your home, there's certain rules and values of how we're going to act as a family. And that's what our core values are. And with Team True Blue, guys, I'm hoping that you guys are familiar with the core values, and I'm really hoping that you're building your future based on those core values. The way you are intentional about setting out to start a month or close a month, intentional about how you do your opportunity meetings. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Leading with kindness, keeping paddles in the water, learning from our mistakes. There's just so many things in those core values, but I'm just going to tell you, every team call you do, every conversation you're having with your leaders and your uplines and downlines, you guys should be looking for ways to identify people who understand the core values and are building, because those are the people that are going to build a house built with a solid foundation, versus people that are just going to have some volume that pops. And then as soon as there's drama, which there's going to be drama, as soon as there's not confusion, but conflict. That's the word I'm looking for. As soon as there's conflict, because wherever there's money, there's conflict. And wherever there's big money, there's usually big conflict, okay? If you don't have a house built on common ground, then it's gonna fall down to some degree, okay? And so it's inevitable you're gonna face those things, but core values are everything to building your organization and Team True Blue, which is your organization. That's one of the core values, right? Our team. It's not our team. It's not just the Cunninghams and the Graves and the Elite Distributors team. It's all of us. It's our team. If you're on here and you're a distributor, you're not a Pro 1 yet, you're not a Pro 2 yet, this is your team, guys. It's not your upline's team. It is your team. And when you start treating it that way, then those core values will become extremely important to you. So just take a look at those. They're on the team website at teamtrueblue.org. They're right there on the homepage. They are so important for building a solid foundation so that you know who you're working with down the road. And, when people that abide by those core values, if there's a meeting on the other side of the United States within True Blue, you have no doubt. You can just send those people to that meeting and know that those people are going to take care of your people. They're not going to cross-recruit them. They're not going to try and, sign them up on the backside. We're going to take care of one another. And that's why, once upon a time, that's how the entire company was. The company has gotten so big and grown so fast that inevitably you lose some of that. And that's why we have those core values identified for this team, because the more we keep it there, the more we work with one another. Like I see Kerry on here, and because I know Kerry and I know the core values he sticks to, I would never, ever hesitate for a second sending one of my guests to Kerry and Lori Ornat's meetings ever in Canada. Never. I'd send them in a heartbeat because I know they're going to get taken care of. And that is not the case throughout our industry and frankly, all of the company, because there's a lot of new people coming in. Until you demonstrate that you are one of those people that can be trusted, it's like a bank, right? You can't withdraw until you deposit, right? And so just wanted to put that out there. And there's a lot of other people besides Kerry that I would have no problem sending anybody to as a guest. But I hope you guys are enjoying the information we're sharing with you guys, because some of the things that we're learning is really taking us back to the basics that we took for granted for so long before we got into this scenario here. So last thing is the workshop this Saturday. We've got a couple minutes. You guys know that the most powerful way that we've witnessed for results is to host a workshop. Not just attend one. Attending is great. Attending the workshop is great. But the format has been put together so that everybody can host one. Like literally, everybody can host a workshop.
Just a side note, let me interrupt you for a second, because leading up to us coming to Spain, we were doing video conferences, Zoom conferences. So
that's where I was. Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning. That's where I was going to go with the conversation. So
basically, we actually had met this group in person because they had been.
Let's come back to that. Let's come back to that subject. Right. Let me finish the workshop stuff. So host it. Host a workshop. If you're not ready for it or you didn't prepare for it, please attend one with a guest. Why is it good to do that? Because there is so much is happening after the training. People are getting together for bagels or coffee or lunch or barbecues, and so much good stuff is happening after the training. That, you know, people, when they leave one of these things, they're just leaving with a gut feeling, right? We talked about today in the training, the car that you drive right now, the color of the car played into the purchase for a lot of you, if not all of you. I mean, no one, even if the car is the right price, I mean, it's a really good price and it meets all the criteria. If it's a ugly color of, I don't know, yellow, whatever, you're not going to buy the car because it's just, you're like, I just can't do that. Right? And so the color of the car doesn't make it get better gas mileage. It doesn't make it a better car. It's an emotion, guys. It's a part of, emotion is a big part of why we make decisions. And getting people in front of the team is what locks them in. It reaches their heart. It's that gut feeling. They don't need to know all the facts. They know enough to go, okay, I can make a decision. So go ahead with what you were saying about what we're noticing here versus what we noticed on Zoom.
Well, you know, we're very fortunate to have the ability to conduct business all over the world with the tools of our phones and Zoom and Facebook Lives and all these different avenues. But the reality is, we had been having weekly Zooms with the leaders here, and it wasn't until we got here and really started having some personal conversations that relationships were built. Like, we met them in person before. They had come up to our room. Like, we had some private time with them.
Yeah, they were global.
Zooms. Yeah, so it wasn't like they were strangers, but at the same time, it wasn't until we got to really, really have some conversations one-on-one where you could feel the emotion coming out of them, that relationships were tied. And so you can never discount the power of meeting together with a person. And so although they're virtual workshops, although that every single person can do it out of the comfort of their own home, getting a group to congregate together is far, far more impactful. Even though the information's coming across through a screen, the relationships and the conversations that happen in the room is what will build and create that emotion inside of them.
Yeah, one of the days in Valencia, we met a woman from Romania that literally, there were tears in her eyes and she was kissing the bottle of Protandem. Literally kissing the bottle of Protandem.
And not because
I've never seen that on Zoom.
It. Not because she had ever taken it, you guys. She hadn't swallowed her first pill. It's because of the hope that it was giving her to get her out of her current situation. And
she was getting that by a gut feeling, by just what she was witnessing and the conversation she was around. Guys, I've never seen that happen on Zoom before.
And the reality is her decision had not been made to do this until we sat and were able to share a couple stories. And the second some stories were shared, she was in.
And then 2 nights ago in Madrid, there was a woman in tears that I had seen on Zooms before. She never cried on the Zooms before, but in this presentation, she's crying because of what the product has done for her and, more importantly, what it's done for her kids. And so Zooms, obviously, and Facebook, you just can't say enough for what an amazing tool they are for us to build our business. What we're doing right now would not be possible without Facebook or technology. What we've been able to do in Spain already would not have been possible if it wasn't for Zooms, because that's literally how this connection happened. These people in Spain met someone in Puerto Rico because of technology. So technology definitely plays a big role in our network marketing business today. But I'm just going to tell you, if you want to close this month out, Zooms are important, but go get in front of somebody, guys. Go drive somewhere. Madrid's 3.5 hours one way. Okay, we drove all the way to Madrid to just meet with a few people. Go get in front of some people to close this month. Go get into some homes. Go tell those people your story. Go show them your passion, and you're going to be surprised how many people will make a decision based on your emotion face-to-face versus on a Zoom. I'm just saying it's powerful. Super, super powerful. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to tell these folks or say other than we love seeing all your faces. And if you're getting this on replay, let us know. Just type down in the comments you're getting it on replay. Sarah False Cox, thank you so much for getting on here and leading out last week. I heard so much about that team call and some of the tips you gave. I love those tips that you shared on, I'm trying to remember, it was some scripts. My mind is so many places. But I saw down in the comments how you were able to follow up there. Just awesome stuff. So appreciate you guys. We are having a blast here in Spain. I'm sure you're seeing some of the stuff that we're posting. And take advantage of the time while we're here. The company is coming in a couple weeks for this big launch. So let us know if we can help you guys go close this month out strong. Go dial for some dollars. Dial for some dollars. Dial for some dollars. Get some people to Pro 1, guys. Get some people to Pro 1. That'll help people get to 2 and 3 and so on. So with that, guys, I was going to say hasta mañana, but no.
Hasta luego.
No.
See you later.
See you later. Hasta luego.
Bye, guys.